Hello, heathens.
Hello, Heathens.
Oh, hi, friends.
Another glorious day.
Another glorious day. Oh, man. It's snowing in Michigan. It's been snowing in Michigan, and I have to say it, I fucking love it. Don't care. Don't care what anybody
I
thinks.
don't
I
care either. It was
fucking love
so
it.
pretty.
Mm,
Oh.
I missed the snow. I missed it so much.
Mhm.
I just want it to snow for heaps. I want heaps of it.
I agree. I agree. The world slows down. I don't have to
Yes.
drive as fast because I have to be careful and protect myself. It looks so beautiful.
uh Being in the
Like,
house when it's cozy and looking out the window
yes.
and it's beautiful outside. Oh, there's
Hmm.
nothing better. I freaking love the winter.
And I'll tell you what, I think I figured out the perfect regulation for warmth and comfort in cold times. And part of it is a scarf, and then part of it was my leg warmers. My leg
Oh,
warmers are amazing.
yeah, but I'm always feel like if my ears are covered and my neck's covered, I'm good to fucking rock and roll, dude.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like if you cover your neck, if you're cold, cover your neck. It's amazing.
Also,
And you
fuzzy
don't have,
socks.
oh yeah, yeah, texture stuff. Yes.
Yes. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Get
Oh,
out your get out your weighted blanket.
yeah, or a heated blanket. Oh.
Ooh,
Mm,
girl.
mm.
That's what I
I
gotta get trying to do for Christmas.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a really good idea.
Hmm.
Heck yeah. Man, we freaking did some Black Friday shopping.
Girl, we hit the jackpot. I
Hell
don't even
yeah.
know how it happened.
I don't either. Nicole found one of our favorite websites for clothes. She found everything for $7. And I was like, $7? $7? We
$7.
we bought so much stuff.
And I was just going through Facebook and like this ad came up and it was like, I bought all this for $100. And I was like, yeah, right. And I clicked on it and then I started going through it and I'm like, what?
Yeah, what is happening?
I went to check out and I was like, I only bought $60 worth of stuff. It
And
was
it
$500 worth of
originally.
stuff. Yes.
Ugh. I was like, no, you didn't. And you were like, no, I don't think you
I don't
understand.
think you understand
I don't
because
think you
I didn't
understand.
understand.
And then I looked at it and I still didn't understand.
No,
I was like, wait, wait, how did you do this? Show me your ways.
magic. I am magic. Well, I've been saying that mantra since
Oh, yeah.
how long has I forget how long it's been, but I went through Chat GPT, or is that right?
Chat
Chat,
GPT, the one where it like
yeah,
makes the
the
stuff for you.
AI.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I did is I told them that I wanted a spell to attract abundance and wealth. And then I put it into my calendar so that, and you know how we have all these notifications that pop up from our calendar? So I put it in there um, to remind me every day to say it. What actually is happening is that I have two calendars right now. And because I got a new phone, so things are a little wonky, but like I have two calendars. I have Outlook and I have Google, and they both remind me of this mantra. So it comes up, and every time it comes up, before I click it out, I say it out loud. I say it out loud. I make sure I say it out loud.
Mm.
And then sometimes I say it three, four times in a row because I'm like, Jesus, like there's all these notifications. Like, but I think it's really like I can see the power in mantras now,
Yeah.
where I couldn't really necessarily see it or believe in it. But I'm telling you, like, it made it more clear when I tried to send the link to you to your phone and you didn't get the right link.
Hmm.
That's what I was like, wait, that's weird. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't the link transfer over?
Right. So weird.
So weird.
Freaking excited to get that order.
Yeah. I may be working on another order, just
Oh Lord.
addicted.
I love that. All right, Heathen. So today we are talking about rejection and all the things that go along with it.
Oh, rejection.
So let's see here. Definition of rejection is the dismissing or refusing of a proposal, idea, etc. And rejection can also be defined as the act of pushing someone or something away.
Oh, yeah.
And I read, of course, it can be we all experience rejection. And it can be in large scales or it can be in scale on a small scale in your everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
But rejection frequently refers to the feelings of shame, sadness, or grief people feel when they're not being accepted by others. And isolation also comes from fear of rejection as well.
Yeah, we take so much personally a lot of times and think there's something wrong with us that when we have that sting of rejection, it hurts, right? Like, and I know this is something that I've really had to navigate on, like, not taking it personally. Shit, because I'm a people pleaser. I literally will like say yes to you, even at my detriment, just so I don't feel your rejection.
Mm-hmm. Same.
And right. And I don't want to say no because I have no boundaries.
Also same. I'm like, you want to do something? Yeah, sure. I can't really do that, but sure, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna make it happen.
Right. What I've noticed though for me that helps is that I don't want to feel like an asshole at like we all have been to that point where we said yes to something and then it comes to that day and we don't want to go. You know, we've burnt ourselves out. We needed this time to recharge and now we yet have another obligation that we said yes to. So then we call and say, I'm really sorry, dude. I gotta cancel on you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And like I realized it was a pattern and then was like, okay. So if I don't want to feel this way on the day of to disappoint somebody, like this feeling is worse than the rejection I'm going to get or give if I say it right away.
Mm-hmm.
Or even like the fact that I've double booked myself because I've said yes too many times. So then
Yeah,
I really have to reject somebody and tell them that they're less important than this thing.
right. Well, and the biggest thing, you helped me a lot with that because you started saying, instead of saying yes immediately, start saying, let me get back to you. Let me think about it and I'll get back to you. Or let me look at my
Yeah.
calendar and I'll get back to you.
Yeah. Cause
And
then
that's
you
helped
have,
me.
that's a helpful thing too. Cause then you're not saying no. So you don't, so everybody feels okay. Like it's almost like an appetizer to like a boundary, right?
Yeah.
Like, hold on, let me check so I can put my ducks in order. Because especially like you and I were so busy that we're double book ourselves just by saying yes to everything, right? And everything that we do, I feel is like we're not, it's all stuff we want to do, right? It's not like it's
Yeah.
not, but like we double book ourselves because we do that. We just automatically say yes, right? You're like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that totally sounds cool. Let's do that. And then you're like, oh, sorry, I have to have lunch with somebody that I already said yes to this person. So I feel like they have precedence over this yes because, and it's a whole thing.
Right. Absolutely. That's so accurate. Oh, I hate that feeling so much.
It's a tough one.
It is. So that's what's hard about rejection in general, because it's because it can be painful, right? It can have the
hmm
effect of making people feel as if they're not wanted, value, or accepted. And that could be something you could feel like you're doing to somebody else, or something you could feel like somebody did to you.
Right, right. You know, that's the thing is you had said that we all have rejection, right? From our
Yeah.
childhood that we've carried on to adulthood. And uh so and I find this a lot with people that are trying to be nice or good.
Yeah.
be careful with that one. Be very careful, because I've seen it happen where people will put it in their detriment to please everybody because you think that's being a good person, and it's not. You're not doing yourself a service. You're not even doing them a service.
Well, because honestly, you're trying to give from an empty cup.
Absolutely.
And you
You're
have to,
get this hollow, like,
yeah.
yeah,
Because like honestly, you're there, but you're not there. You're giving, but you're not giving anything. And at that point,
no.
you're doing both people in a situation a really big disservice, and especially yourself, because like you're miserable being there. They know you're miserable being there, and then like it's just this whole big thing, and it becomes something that's completely not.
Mhm. It's especially, I think, a tendency or trending right now, um, because we are so focused on the hate of the world right now and the bad things in the world, that
Hmm.
we're missing and bypassing completely what good is still left in this world, right? I mean,
Yeah.
even like me saying that, you have this response of like, that's not necessarily true. The world is going to shit. And we all hear it, right? And then we focus on this thing that it basically is self-fulfilling prophecy, because, just like snow, us saying we love snow, people are immediately going to reject the fact like it's snow, right? And it is beautiful. But we've been taught or to see like, oh, now I'm going to have to drive slower. Now I'm not going to get to work on time, or I have to like spend more time driving. And, really what you're doing is you're taking care of yourself so that you go to your destination with care.
Hmm.
What's more important than that? You're actually caring for yourself and
Yeah,
taking
but
time out to do it.
taking care of ourselves, who does that?
What? Oh, I don't.
What? We don't talk about taking care of ourselves, okay, Nicole?
No, no,
How
we
dare
don't.
you?
No, we don't do that. That's not how this goes. I have to go 90 miles an hour because I
Yeah,
need to go.
yeah, and if I slide, it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Um, so let's talk about some different types of rejection because we know this, but we don't know this, one of those things. So the first one is familial rejection, which is rejection from like your family of origin, like a parental rejection. This could be like it could consist of abuse, it could be abandonment, it could be neglect, or it could just be withholdings of love and attention. Not that that's just that, but I'm saying compared to, neglect and abuse, there's a
Yeah.
lot of different ways that you could feel familial rejection.
There's a lot of ways, and we have to be very careful when we're raising our kids about like, I'm not rejecting you. I'm rejecting the idea, or, whatever it is that you're like, listen, you asked me this 5 minutes before we're going to go do something. Like, I
Hmm.
can't do it. You didn't give me enough time, right? Like, so a lot of times I will over explain things. Like, I'm saying no, not because I don't want to do it or because you're bad. I'm saying no because you literally came to me at the worst time ever, and I don't have enough time to fulfill this prophecy or fulfill this idea or what your wants and needs, right?
Hmm.
Like, so it's one of those things that you want to reject because of circumstances, but we have to be soft and delicate about when we're doing it, because we're forming these kids' brains, these emotional paths and stuff like that. So be very careful when you're rejecting somebody. Do it, reject them, but do it in a way that you would want to be rejected. And how really talk to yourself about this, because this is where you're going to find your answers. Is if you were that child, how would you want to have been rejected? How would
Hmm.
you would have been like let down easy? Kind of thing.
Yeah, and I feel like this is going into the talk about the differences between boundaries and rejection too.
Yeah, yeah.
and the bigger talk about how it's really hard, but we have to respect boundaries even if it hurts. And try not to look at it like rejection, because you can't force your belief or your opinion on somebody else, right? Like you're not going to change another person's mind. If they have a personal boundary of with you, it's really hard to not take that personally, but that just goes back into the whole, what are the 4 steps
Or
of
agreement.
the agreements? You can't
Right.
take it personally, because we have to respect other people's boundaries. And it can be really hard to set a boundary when you feel, once you're aware of rejection, you feel like you're going to make them feel rejected.
Right. So stop assuming and stop taking it personally, right?
Exactly.
If you need validation, be brave enough to ask the question.
Oh, yep, there it is.
We really have to get down to this thing of being, and same, right?
Oh,
That's
so
why
yeah.
ghosting is so popular right now, is because are we've been rejected, and then we have not had the courage to ask them why,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we
Yep.
don't want to know.
Right.
We do, because it drives us crazy. The mystery drives us crazy. So be brave enough to ask why.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say there's two things that are coming in. One is when we are rejecting children, sometimes, not all the time, but a lot of times if we're rejecting children, it's really because we're rejecting some part of ourself. Children are mirrors to us because they start off as blanks, not white, blank slates. So we're fulfilling all of their ways of survival in this world. In This is how they're going to receive love, touch, attention, food, shelter. So they have to play by the rules to get their needs met
Yes.
because they're powerless. They don't have the power that they need that adults have, right?
Right.
Um, so when we see something in our child that we're rejecting, whether it's like nervousness, anxiety, anger, um, any of those things, that you look at your child and you go, stop doing that. That's because it's a part of you that you have rejected.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of things that you can look up to start to um, bring. What I would want you to do is, before you say no to something, say, hold on and give me a minute to think about it, so you can pause, and then go into yourself and see why. Ask why. What is this? Why do I not like this behavior? Why am I being triggered by this behavior? Why why is it? Because a lot of times when I did this, I came to the conclusion that I'm only doing it because of my own fear or my own worth, or the fact that like that was an undesirable feeling to express. So these are the things that we really kind of have to look at before we move forward on. um I guess I don't know how to get this back to rejection. um So we're gonna stop there. There was a second one that I had. Let me think if they'll drop it in again. Um, no, I think it's gone. Rejection mirror for kids. What was the other thing? What was the last thing that you said?
I said that we have to respect others' boundaries. We're talking about boundaries and how there's a difference between boundaries and
Oh, okay.
rejection. Yeah.
So for my people pleasers, for the soft empathy kind of people, realize that when you put up a boundary or rejection or anything like that, it's going to feel mean and wrong to you.
Yep.
So learn to feel those feelings on, like, if I set up this boundary because it's not in my highest good or it's not compatible with what my authenticness is, then it's going to feel like I am being mean, or I'm being, it's going to feel bad to us because we're so used to giving everything
Yeah.
that when we restrict that flow and put the boundaries in that are safe and to keep us keep our cup full, that boundary is the cup that you're creating, what you're
Mhm.
giving. So if you've got everything to give and we've been giving it all, we don't have any boundaries, it's just spilling out on the floor like water that has not had it has no cup. So
Right.
what you're doing is you're actually, if you want to think about it in a visual type of way, is the boundaries that you're making is your holy grail, is your chalice. So put these in and decorate your cup, your boundaries in a way that is helpful for you. Like, I don't like this. I don't like football. I don't like basketball. I'm not a big fan. I don't want to watch it. This is a boundary for me. This is an easy boundary for me, but like,
Yep.
right? Like, and I can reject it and nobody's feelings are really hurt, right? It's just an opinion. Um, I don't like sports. I will watch golf if I'm there. I don't really like basketball. I just don't like that kind of stuff. It has no worth or value to me. Now, before when I was younger, because my parents like football, because everybody likes football. Yeah, yeah, I totally love football. I'll watch it with you. I'll, I'll sit there and go through it and put myself in this place where like I've wasted hours of my time doing something I didn't want to do just for you. Now, if my husband really liked football, or if you really liked football, I would go and every once in a while share that experience with you because it would be important to you, right? I'm okay with that.
Right.
But to go watch it on TV,
Every time there's a game.
no,
Yeah.
no, I can't. And good for you for liking it. I found no one fulfillment or value in it. And but it's a safe way to like, I don't like it and I'm not compatible with it. So I don't have to revisit that. I don't have to like do that anymore. But that's a baby step into bigger things. This is like a
Mhm.
foundational block to like set up higher standards for myself to like I don't like to be ghosted. But I also don't like to ask questions. I'm working on that one.
Mhm.
Um so how do we how do I set up a boundary to like people that do ghost you? How do you work through that? Right? Like how do I work through that whole scenario? Because I don't necessarily have the answers at this point, but I know it's one of those things that I don't like. So, I probably don't like it because I don't get validation right away. And I don't have the courage right now to actually ask the question of why you ghosted me.
Mhm.
Right?
As well as you're taking it personally.
As well as I'm taking it personally. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm. Which is hard because ghosting situations, especially in romantic relationships, are really hard in social
Right.
settings in general, true too, but you that's the hard part of the 4 agreements is not taking anything personally because really honestly, the ghosting isn't about you.
Right. It's
And
not.
there could be something, right, that they don't like about you, but the reason they're doing that isn't about you. It's
Mm-mm.
about them and their own fears, their anxieties, their traumas, all those freaking things that we talk about all the time.
Well, we don't
There's
want to be
reasons.
mean.
Right.
And we think critical thinking or critical behavior is mean, and it's not. Like, we've gotten to this point where, like, yes, I will accept however you are, but if you're a douchebag, I won't accept that,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I that's not in my highest interest, right? But
Mhm.
we don't want to tell anybody that, like, hey, I don't like it when you do this because we feel we're being mean or unaccepting. But now we get all these like people that don't know that they're being dicks and they're being mean, right?
Mhm.
because nobody's checked them. And not to say that we need to start checking people, but like, I think we really are doing a disadvantage of the human society of where we're at right now. Because even like when I talked to somebody yesterday and I could see that she was going to be doing the same thing that I had been doing, I literally had to be like, no, don't do it. You cannot have this. This is not in any way this good, because what's going to happen is it's going to, you put your boundary up, but you didn't put it all the way up. So there's a weakness in it, right? There's a hole, there's a crack. So now it starts sleeping in and it makes you softer because time forgets all wounds. We're not as hurt as much. And then you break down the wall and you go right back to where you were in the first place.
Mhm.
And that is not where we need to be, right? Burn that
Mhm.
fucking bridge. Burn it because you don't need to be there.
Right.
We are not going backwards. We are not going to have those kind of rules or, standards for ourselves anymore. Like, I'm not going to do it. I reject it.
I reject it. Okay, so another different type of rejection is social rejection. That can occur at any age. Usually that's often beginning in childhood. It can include bullying, alienation in school or the workplace.
Mhm.
The other two I have is rejection in a relationship. So like withholding affection or intimacy, or treating a partner as if that person were no more than just a casual acquaintance. And it can also happen when one person decides to end a relationship. And then it can also happen when a date is denied. So there's lots of different kinds of rejection we can also experience too, that are outside of just self-rejection, right? Or
Mhm.
feeling like we are causing somebody else to, why did I say causing like that? Oh, that felt weird. Sorry. Causing. Jeez.
Causing.
Yeah.
I
Causing.
reject that.
Yeah, I reject that. That ain't happening. No, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. That was not enjoyable. So
Ugh.
I have two sections here. The end of my section is going to be some things that we can help with feeling rejections, and then I wanted to talk about a video from Teal Swan that was talking about rejection and how to deal with it. So really quick, some of the things that I found that I really agree with, and can you guess the first one of something that we can do that can help with feelings of rejections?
Can I guess? I'm
Mm-hmm.
bad at guessing.
We talk about this one every single freaking time, I swear.
Take it personally.
Nope. Write about your rejected feelings. Journal, dog.
Oh,
Journal it.
yeah.
I
Yep.
actually found out through this, which led me down a rabbit hole, that they have actually researched this, which I did not know. We have been telling you guys all fucking season, all season one. Journal about it. Journal about it. Research
Yeah.
actually shows writing about your feelings and the potential implications following an experience or of rejection may be an effective way to process those feelings and move past them.
It what it does is it brings it into the physical world. So our thoughts is like not physical. So they can always be bigger there because it's like the imagination, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the monster is always bigger in the dark than it is actually in the light. All horror movies, right?
Yep.
If we can't see the monster, it's so scary. Like Smile. Smile is a perfect example of that.
Smile is the perfect fucking
Smile
example.
was a great movie. You
Ooh,
were
that was a
super
good horror
scared.
movie.
And then as soon as they showed the monster, you're like, what the fuck was that? You ruined
Literally,
everything.
literally, when people ask me about that movie, and I'm like, God, that's like right now one of my favorite movies, hands down. It got me so. There was a part that I saw in the trailer that scared me, and I saw it
Yeah.
again during the movie. I knew it was coming. And it still fucking scared me.
Still
I was
jump.
like,
Like, oh God.
yeah. But like then I always say the ending. Once you see what it is, it kind of sucks. But like the movie's still so worth it. It's
Oh, it's
such a
still
great
worth
movie.
it for
But yeah,
sure.
at the ending, I was like, well, fucking want. That's what we've been scared of this entire time. Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's a
Right.
great example for this. I also feel like another way of saying that is like you're bringing it into your line of sight.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
It's like you're pulling it from here and just it being thoughts into the line of sight. You could see it literally on paper.
Right. And then it becomes this word,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you're like, wait, I don't like that anyway. Why would I even like?
You know what it's making me think of is what I've done to combat my overspending when it comes to shopping is when I'm feeling like I want to online shop, I add things into my cart and I don't buy it right away and I give myself time. And then I come back and I look at it and I'm like, there's like 5 things. Say I have a cart of 9 things. More than half of that will be things that I would never wear
Where?
ever.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
like, I look at it and I'm like, what was I thinking? It's just the
Right.
excitement of shopping.
Right. And I think that like with online shopping, it's so great. It is definitely window shopping where you almost like get to like the point of buying it, but you don't. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And the great thing about it is I don't have this physical heap in my cart. Right.
Yeah.
I just have an emotional heap that I can work through while I'm buying it. And then I can like, oh, well, that was good. That did exactly what I needed. I don't actually need these things, right? And I think that's really like, if you are having troubles with spending and stuff like that, I think it's a great way to do it the way you said it is like, do it, give yourself time. And I know some of the carts will be like, you can only have this for like a half an hour. Don't. That's a game.
You know what? How I combat that too is I will shop online. On usually I get on Shein because Shein has so much stuff on there. I will
All
shop
of it.
until I'm so bored with looking and I'm like, all right, I'm done. Because
Yep.
then it doesn't matter if it's like the last one, no stuff. This is the last one. I don't care. I'm done. I don't want to, I
You're
don't even want to
done.
buy it anymore because I'm done.
Nope.
I've looked at this for way too long. I'm over
Yep.
it. And
Yep.
then if I get that again, that feeling, say it's like 5, 6 days later, a couple weeks, whatever it may be, and I come back, that's when I look at it again and I'm like, ugh. Well,
Yep.
I'm gonna take some of that stuff out. And then if something stays for longer, I'm like, all right, I'll get it. Obviously,
Yeah.
I want that. I like it every time I see it, I'll get it.
Yeah.
But to combat the whole, what I want to say, marketing strategy of making you feel very anxious about you only have this amount of time to buy this, or this is low in stock, it's the last one in stock. I just shop until I'm no longer interested, meaning not
Well,
buying anything, window shopping.
right. Right. And that's the whole thing is like, you got to realize that every sale, every marketing ploy is all about you not being enough.
Yep.
And you're going to miss out.
Preach it for the people in the back.
All of them. They have social engineers. They know
Okay.
what you like. They collect data on us all the time, right?
Hell
So
yeah.
not only do they know what you like, they also can feed it to you,
That's how they
right?
got you with that $7. You said
I was
$7.
like, what? Okay,
All
I
that for
will
a hundred
buy.
bucks.
I was like, what? How is this? Like, I half expected to come in and it'll be miniature,
Yeah.
like this big, like.
I'm trying to stay very positive about it because I'm like,
But really, I
nah,
only
it's
spent
fine.
60 bucks on it. So I'm like, if I hate it, I hate it. Like,
Yeah, same.
I mean, it was very nice to like shop through and I was like, oh my God, we're gonna have a great Christmas because like I can afford it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like just because like it'll be little stupid stuff that we can open, which we like that. So we can
Oh,
stay,
we love that kind of stuff. We're
like because
we're
we have
chots.
Christmas together. So like
What's the word? Chotskis? Tchotchkes.
tchotchkes. Yeah.
Tchotchkes. Yes, we are those kind of people.
Mm-hmm.
Anything
Mm-hmm.
small, you're telling me. Kaylee brings me small stuff all the time. My future stepdaughter. I love this.
Oh my God,
It's
it's
so tiny.
so cute.
It's a little fairy bunny.
Oh my God.
Oh, he's so cute. Just stuff like that. I'm like, oh my God, that's the best present ever.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay, let's see here. So another thing that we can do to help with feelings of rejections, and of course, people hear me out because you're gonna hear this and you're gonna be like, yeah, okay. Is practicing accepting rejection. So accepting rejection can help decrease negative emotional responses. It can help decrease that emotional charge that we get. Acceptance is not always easy, if ever easy.
Mm-hmm.
It is usually hard. But remember, acceptance isn't the same as resignation. There we go. Gotta get my mouth to work. Or dissociation. And it doesn't mean being a doormat or tolerating an unhealthy situation. It simply means that you are acknowledging and accepting yourself, your thoughts, and your emotions.
Yeah, this is a really good one because like we are now going to build tools to face rejection. And whether
Mhm.
it's, small rejection, like I don't want to, I can't go out that day, to accepting big rejections like, hey, I just don't think we're on the same path and I think we need to break up. Those are really, the extremes of rejections that we have. And I think it's important to like, if your partner rejects you, be for whatever reason, we still go back to like, don't take it personally. And the fact that we just because we're being rejected now doesn't mean that we're not worth anything.
Yes.
And there was something that I heard that things we reject things all the time about things that are expensive or we're like that painting that's for sale that's $700. I'm not in the market to buy a $700 painting, right? So I have to
Right.
reject it. Doesn't mean the painting's not worth it,
Right.
right? So don't take you're the painting, right? Just because they're rejecting the price that you're wanting them to pay doesn't mean they're worth any less. And I think we'd be very like mindful about that.
Well, and by sitting with it and accepting the rejection instead of denying it, making it something, else, it can help to give you direction.
Right.
So
Right.
Teal San talked about this guy who was constantly getting rejected after like a couple dates. And when he actually finally started sitting down and looking at it and talking to some of these people, he found out that it was because they kept feeling like he was unavailable. Well, then when he really sat down and looked at it even more after knowing that, he realized that he likes work. He liked his work, he liked his job, and he needed somebody who didn't need him, but wanted to be
Mhm.
with him on their off time because that's what he needed. But what he was attracting and looking at and looking for at the time was people that were actually available. They're available all the time. They want to be with their partner. There's somebody who very much wants to be in that relationship. And when he got to look at that, he realized he needed to be dating people that also enjoyed working or also enjoyed having their own lives and wanted to
Right.
come together when they wanted to instead of being there all the time.
Mhm.
And I'm like, it's so true. So again, rejection can give you direction.
Yes. Because if you know that, like, okay, if you sit down there and you're like, well, they rejected me because of this, am I willing to change myself? Is that
Mhm.
my most authentic place
Right.
to not, like to take a shower or not? Like, so if I'm rejected because I'm not taking a shower, do I want to take a shower all the time then? And I think those are the questions that we really want to ask ourselves is that not the rejection itself, because of course that's going to be a trigger and we're not going to think our way through it, right?
Yeah.
It's fine. Feel the trigger, move through it, right? And then when you're done, come back to it, write it down if it helps, like, and really think about like, is this a wound? Is this to my detriment? Is this something I want to change about myself?
Right.
Because if you don't like to take showers and it's physically going to make you like not be a good person or not fulfill your needs, then why would you want to take a shower for the rest of your life, right?
Mhm.
Obviously, this is weird because like we all want to take showers and like it's good for us and stuff like that. But I want you to at least look at it in a way of like not rejecting yourself or not thinking that there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Because that's the first thing that we go to. If we get rejected, why did I get this hurt? And we want to fix the hurt. We automatically think there's something wrong with us. Like if my husband breaks up with me, then there's something obviously wrong with me, right?
Right.
When really you're probably not compatible. And if you're not compatible, then why would you want to stay there?
Well, and that's my next couple go together, and one of them is focus on the positive because maybe you may not be a good match for the person or the situation, which goes into recognizing that the rejection is might not be about you and to not take anything personally, which also goes along with these two. You need to ask yourself if there's a lesson to be learned. And you need
Mm-hmm.
to reconsider your expectations. So sometimes what this rejection's doing, as well as it, like I said, rejection's giving you direction,
Mm-hmm.
that can be looking at all these things, asking yourself, like, is there a lesson to be learned? You can acknowledge the fact that you have feelings because we all have fears, we all have shame and guilt. That's okay. It's about recognizing that you have that, moving through it, and then realizing what needs to change. Sometimes that can be expectations that we're holding within
Yeah.
ourselves and for other people and other situations. Sometimes that's the fact that we're not looking at the positive of it, of holy shit, like we were not a match. We were
Yeah.
not compatible at all.
Right.
And if anything, we were hurting each other
Mm-hmm.
even further than what needed to be hurt, or the situation was not good for me. It was not compatible situation. Like I should not have been in that spot, but I put myself there and I had these high expectations from it. And then I got rejected. And now I have a chance to look at it and learn from it and realize that, okay, that was not personally, that wasn't anything that happened to me. That wasn't
Yeah.
about me. I was just not where I was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. And we're taught to like stay in those relationships at all costs, right? Instead
Absolutely.
of like realizing that like if I date a person that loves to go to sporting events, that's probably not going to work out for me,
Right.
right? Like now if we went in and obviously was like, look, I don't like this, you're going to have to go out with your boys and that's how it's going to have to be, like that may be different because all my other needs are being met, right? But I know in my own circumstances, like we attract people that are more like our fathers, right? So if mine are like emotionally unavailable, then I'm going to look for a guy that's emotionally unavailable, right? So when there's a point of it where you're like, I'm not getting my needs met because I picked this stuff and having a conversation about that. And it's like, look, I realize now that I have needs and that this is what I need. Now, if you find out that you don't want to, if you don't have the capacity or the want to fulfill my needs, then that's okay. Right. Because I am on this journey of growing and evolving and, really listening to what I need to be a happy, healthy person. This is what we have to do. We have to look at stuff and realize that, like, all right, like these are things, at the end of the day, why am I feeling this way? I shouldn't feel this way. I want to feel joy. I want to feel like we're happy and healthy, right? And what am I not getting? And then what is my responsibility to take care of? And what is the stuff that I need from the outside? If you're a girl, because I know this is a big one for me, if you're a girl that needs this emotional support and you need to be pampered, it's almost like I guess the S&M club. So if you have a brat and then you have a dom, right? Am I saying this right?
Yeah, sub and a dom.
A sub and a dom. You need to be a sub, right? Like you need that. Well, the dom needs to be a dom. They know exactly what they need to get out of a full relationship, right? So that's the same thing in all relationships, is figure out what you need and then find the person that needs to be the dom. And then you both will fulfill the whole, that's a whole, right? Like you've got one
Mhm.
that's higher, or one that's controlling and one that's not controlling but needs to be controlled. You have that, right? It's a
Mhm.
perfect balance. So that's what we're kind of looking for. And I hope that like made sense.
It did make sense. Yeah. Yeah, it's just you know, sometimes we put ourselves in the line of fire. That's how we
Mm-hmm.
learn.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just sometimes you have to. We've talked about this. I can't remember which episode it was, probably multiple actually, that we have to be sometimes trauma has to happen for us to learn. Sometimes it has to keep happening if we're not learning the lesson. It's just a matter of self-awareness. All of this is to gain self-awareness. Um,
Absolutely.
so to move in really quickly to the Teal Swan stuff, there's a book that I think we all should read that I want to read. It's called The Anatomy of Loneliness by Teal Swan. This has a lot to do with rejection. It has a lot to do with self-confidence, things like that. It sounds like a really good book. But what the main points that I brought from her was, one, and I love this one, rejection is not validation. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you are unwanted by everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. That is perfect right there.
Oh yeah, that one
Say
smacks me. I'm like, whoo.
say it again. Say it again for the people in the back, because we need to hear it again.
Rejection is not validation. It doesn't mean that you are unwanted by everyone.
Absolutely. And this one hits hard because,
Hard.
like, yeah, a lot of times I forget about everybody that loves and supports me
Mhm.
because of one person rejecting me.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, same. So she also said that how we deal with pain determines how we cope with things such as rejection, which we have been working on this all season, you guys. And I just want to reiterate, how we deal with pain is how we cope with things like rejection.
Mm-hmm.
If you are somebody who's going to push it to the side, rejection can turn into something much larger, where it turns into isolation, it turns into loneliness, it turns into anxiety, it turns into depression, all these things. We could keep going. I could keep going. But that's the whole point of this, is we have to learn how to cope with pain, right? We have to learn how to cope with the things that we feel, those triggers, those traumas, those pains, so that we can deal with things such as rejection. So then we can kind of
Right.
emotionally detach from it to see it a little third partied and be able to see outside of it instead of being
Absolutely.
encompassed in it.
Absolutely. Because the trigger is your best flag.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a trigger, and then I've now gotten to the point, instead of lashing out because you touched my wound, I now go, why am I triggered by this? After there is some time in between, like getting triggered. I actually just went through this process. So I get triggered, I get mad, and I'm like, I'm not going to do anything anymore. And then I go, okay, let's look at this. And then, well, why did this hurt me? What was I? Am I willing to change that? Do I want to change that? Is that my emotion? There's a lot of questions that start to follow that hurt. So I've actually, and it takes practice like anything else. This is a skilled trade. This is not going to happen overnight. You
Right.
literally have to like go through these triggered moments.
Mm-hmm.
I get triggered. I want to like throw it all in the garbage. And if you have to, throw it all in the garbage. But then pick it out and be like, well, why?
Absolutely.
Right? Like,
So Teal also said, we hear this a lot too from us. You guys are gonna be like, Cassie and Nicole are a broken record. We are. I will never get off this soapbox. Always treat
oh,
yourself with compassion. Don't kick yourself when you're already down. It's
yeah.
hard when you're dealing with pain and you're still learning how to cope with it. You're still learning. These big triggers like rejection are going to throw you right back into a place where you feel at square one again, especially when you're just beginning to do all this stuff. It's not going to happen at a flick of, snap of a finger, flick of a wand. It's not going to happen.
It's
Um,
practice. Yep.
Yes, like Nicole just said, it's practice, practice, practice. Even us still, there are things that I don't even know are going to trigger me. They trigger me, and I'm like, holy shit. And back to square one, baby.
Mhm,
Here we go.
mhm, mhm. But now, especially, let's see what happened. Well, what I feel happens now, like we started out and you're like, oh, that triggered me and that triggered me. And you're really just like surfacey triggering stuff. Now, because we've been doing it hardcore for a full year right now. I mean, we've been doing it longer than that, but like that's not the point. Um, so now we've dug this hole and we're like getting to the bottom or the meat of the situation where the roots have led us. Now, like I know I've been talking to you this lately where I feel kind of super unhinged because I'm really getting to the meat of the situation where this all stemmed from. And I'm accepting the fact that I'm going to look a little crazy and a little unhinged because I am cleaning out my closet
Hmm.
and organizing my closet. Because if you think about that, like if I take everything out of my closet, of course my room is going to look completely cluttered because
Hmm.
I'm going to have stuff everywhere, right? So if I look a little untriggered or a little unstable, it's because I kind of am, but I'm building this foundation that's going to be stronger for the future. So it's okay to kind of like run through the fact like, I'm pissed. I can't believe you did this to me and completely a victim to it. And then move through. Listen, I thought about it. And
Hmm.
these are the things that I've thought about. And if you want to, and this could be all done by journaling first, so that way you're not hurting anybody. And then going back and being brave and being like, look, this is how I felt. This is what I found. Is this um maybe asking them a question about why they rejected you.
Hmm.
And the funny thing is most of the time it's not the same.
Well, yeah, and Teal was talking about that too. With that, we have to be brave enough though to stop telling ourselves stories about why we're being rejected first.
Mm-hmm.
We have to
Absolutely.
we have to. You have to be brave enough to ask because she said it plain and simply. Would you go to somebody and say, "Why did you reject me?" Or what is the reason why you rejected me? Because she goes, "I would." Because I want to know, because I want you to
Mm-hmm.
tell me the things you're saying behind my back so that I can know. Because again, she was the one that said this, where this came in earlier, and I'm going to reiterate, out of rejection can come your strongest sense of direction. You get to sit down with
Absolutely.
yourself, look at what was said, and this can give you direction on what you want to change. Or to that point, if it's something you want to strengthen and you realize that there's incompatibility, you strengthen it.
Absolutely.
Um, she also said that it's guaranteed that we have childhood trauma. We all have childhood trauma around rejection. And she has a book for that as well that's called The Completion Process, which I also want to read, that goes through all of that and starting to pick out these parts of yourself that you can fix. And another big one that she talked about that I wanted to talk about because I never thought about this, because I can't say that I'm more like this, but having a fixed mindset can lead to more rejection. It can tend to make you feel powerless towards any kind of change. So at that point, it's important to change to a growth mindset. But having a fixed mindset of like, this is something that is always going to be this way. And then you get rejected again, and it happens the same all over again. And you're fixed to it, and you feel it's going to make you feel even more powerless of, I can't change this. It's always going to be this way. You're fixed into that.
Yeah, and that one's a tricky one because it's hidden. It's
Hell
not very
yeah.
right, like you don't see it very clearly. Um and we all say this, like people don't like change when we're in a world that is completely evolving all the time
Absolutely.
on almost every level. Like your cells, I mean, think about it. If you stop exercising, you go into atrophy. That is your body evolving to what the situation is.
Mhm.
So we have to remember that having a malleable or a changeable growth, even evolution mindset means that we are accepting and going through change and welcoming it, even like, oh, this is growth. This is my new branch that I just grew.
Right. It's like changes the mindset behind rejection where you're not feeling rejected as much as like almost steered in a different direction.
Yeah.
Instead, it's like, oh, okay, well, that didn't work out. So let's try here. Instead of being like,
Right.
oh, this always happens to me and nothing's ever going to change. And I'm so validated and rejection's validation.
I
Get out of here with that shit. Sweat it away.
well,
Done
and
with
think
that.
right, because like think about it as in like if I'm learning a new skill. Like when I started out doing hair, I wasn't great at it, right? And that's, you're really afraid because you're somebody's gonna reject you. They're gonna say you did a bad haircut. They're gonna like, you're not worthy of this, da da da. But the more I practice, the better I got at it, right? So you take those rejections or you take those errors and you use them to grow. So
Mhm.
everything that like triggered me made me a better hairdresser.
Same. Yep. I didn't like this haircut. Okay, cool. I'm going to take more classes on haircuts so I can learn better how to do this, or,
Hmm.
things like that.
Yeah.
Another one that she had said that I did not think about this. Rejection happens a lot when we don't have close enough intimate relationships with others. When it that can happen and make cause extreme feelings of rejection. Teal said that we need to see, feel, and ask about people, and it causes more growth. We have to be brave enough to learn from rejection so it can make us self aware. So we have to be willing to, again, see, feel, and ask about people because it creates more self awareness.
Right. And I think that this is definitely a lack that we have in society because we're taught that we don't want to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
We're taught that, well, I don't want any drama.
Mm-hmm.
So we almost like, um, strengthen that because we've got this thing about like, I don't want any drama. I don't want to do that. Da da da. Da. And like we're validated in that because like I'm a good person because I have no drama in my life. Okay, how does that happen? Because I can tell you what, you don't buy the white shirt with nothing on it. You like a little drama, and that's okay. But
Mm-hmm.
we need to start looking at it as not as like a bad thing or calling it drama because it's not. It's actually looking forward and going into and being brave and being courageous about like your feelings, my feelings, where you're standing. That way I don't have to assume what your intentions are, or what we really are getting addicted to is our thoughts and how they spiral out of control. And that's what we like to do. So, but we don't think we do. It's like it's the addiction part of it, right? Like, oh, I'm going to create the scenario so I can like do this.
Listen to our episode on overthinking, bro. Just
Absolutely.
listen to that fucking episode. You'll learn a lot.
Absolutely.
Okay, the last thing I have is um an experience that Teal shared, and it made me like her even more. Because it made her again human. Because sometimes Teal is one of my gurus at this point, I could say. I listen to her a lot for myself when I'm going through something because she has something for everything. And she is
Hmm.
that person that's going to tell you the cold hard truth, and try to make it as black as white as she can. And I really appreciate this about her. And so she was talking about experience she had with rejection, where she was going to these seminars and she was talking, and they were telling her, they're like, Teal, when you leave the room, nobody feels amazing when you give a talk. Nobody feels amazing after you've given a talk, and it's hard for us to book you. It's hard for us to get you in here in these seminars because people are leaving feeling worse than when they came in. And so she was like, I have to reevaluate, like, and restructure my talks. I need to make sure they're leaving with something good and all this stuff. And then when she sat down and looked at that rejection feeling she was having and looked at what she was going to change, she asked herself if she was aligning with herself and what she truly believed. And she was like, I'm not. And so she decided she wanted to be true and honest, even if it hurt to hear it to everybody around her, because that aligned with who she was and what she felt like she was here to do. So instead of it, because she got the rejection, it gave her the direction to do her own events other than the seminars with others. And she said it's the best thing that ever happened to her, was that rejection that showed her this path that she should have been on.
No,
I just thought it was so cool.
It's really good because it's really powerful, and it shows us a blueprint of, like, we want to feel safe in a crowd, right? So you go to a seminar, even as like a seminar speaker, you would want to do what they want you to do because you think that that's how you're going to be successful. Like, clearly these people know what they're doing. Clearly and these are all gurus. They're not just like, nobodies, and then she comes in and is like, oh, blah, blah, blah. No, they're all equals, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they wanted her to suppress herself to do what everybody else is doing. And again,
Yep.
it goes back to this whole thing of like, we're only going to do positivity. We're only going to do positivity. Well, what I have found, positivity doesn't make the growth. Positivity doesn't make the evolution. You legit, like, there was a story that I had where these certain type of cats were born with no tails, and it's the minks. And I did a little research on this. This was long ago. It evolved this way because there was a tribe that would take the cats and take the tails. They would kill the cats and take the tails and put it on their, like, headpiece, right? Like, for some sign. Well, for survival mechanism, these cats got smart and they started biting the tails off their kittens when they were young. That evolutionized it to, like, if you don't use it, you lose it. So as it evolved, these cats evolved with no tails because it was the highest part for their survival, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's painful. So you had the catalyst of the pain that started, and then you had the pain of changing to a more adaptable creature in the long run, right? So the positivity really is there for when you are already been through the trauma part. Instead, it's almost like eating your candy before your vegetables. So you have to go through this pain part, this triggered part, to find out, this is my discomfort. Where am I going to grow? Is it something that I'm going to accept about myself in my highest good? There's a lot of questions that you can ask yourself to where you need to be directed to after the pain comes, after the trigger comes. And then the positivity comes from growing that new limb, from establishing and supporting this new adventure, because that's what we need. We're scared because this is what I've always done, and I got to do something new, but I don't know how that's going to be. So I'm really scared because I don't know how to do that, and I'm going to make mistakes, and it's not what I know. So I don't know what's going to happen, and I can't control it. So these are the things that we really need to kind of look at in that part of growth and evolution. Yeah.
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 Back when you were talking about the seminars wanted to be all light and love, I was gonna quote unquote you when you said, we are no light and love fuckers.
We are no light love fuckers. No.
We're not no light and love fuckers.
Because all that does is put frosting on a piece of shit. Like,
Yep.
it's not going to
It's the
do anything.
facade, baby.
Yeah, you've got, and this is the whole thing about shadow work, and I know that that's trendy too.
Which
You've
thank
got to
God.
go, you've got to go through the pain, and then the positivity helps the growth. That's how that
Mm-hmm.
happens. We're doing it backwards. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got too.
Uh,
All of a sudden we're back to normal and there's nothing really there, and we're both like,
uh,
yep, that's all she wrote.
that's all she wrote on that one. So look at rejection. This is the one that you're going to have to do research and you're going to have to put tools in to help you with the rejection. And I want you to say that sentence again for everybody before we leave
Oh
to hear it
God.
one more time.
Okay, hold on. You're gonna give me a minute because I am out of everything.
You were like, I was closing down.
I already closed everything down. Rejection is not validation. It doesn't mean that you are unwanted by everyone.
Put that on your mirror and look at it because that needs to be chiseled into your brain.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my friends. So the next episode we are going to do it on Yule, which is a pagan holiday that is equal to Christmas. So we will be talking about that next week. And then we only have 2 more episodes after that, and that's then season 1, baby.
That's the end of season completion.
So excited. We are gonna finish season 1, and Nicole and I are gonna drink heavily.
Absolutely.
To
Absolutely.
celebrate.
Celebrate. Cassie, can you tell us a little bit of what you found out last night on Spotify about our
Oh,
stats?
yeah. So our Spotify Wrapped came up, which if you guys do not know this, Spotify does
Spotify.
a Wrapped version, so they look at everything throughout the year. And I really quick want to say, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe because it really does help us out.
It really
And
does.
it's really cool how many people already are. But
Mhm.
um we were the #1 podcast for 47 of you guys. Yeah, fucking heathens.
Fucking
That felt so cool.
heathens.
I was like giggling.
Yay.
We are the top 5 for 83 of you people, and we are the top 10 for 98 of you
Wow.
people, and it is fucking awesome.
That's so cool.
I can't
Never
imagine.
thought.
No, I can't even. You guys, we're sitting in our houses talking to you. And some of you watch us on YouTube, some of you listen to us on Spotify, and I can't imagine sitting in front of just even 47 of you and talking to you guys about this stuff.
Right.
So it's really fucking cool. It's really cool, and I'm excited to see how we keep growing and where we go from here. Because like that
Absolutely.
last night was just mind blowing. I was like, holy shit.
I know.
#1 for 47 people.
Oh my God.
We're in 9 countries. We're getting streamed in 9 countries.
Oh my God. That's amazing too. I
That's
can't believe it. It's mind blowing.
mind blowing. Mind blowing. It was so cool. So cool. Oh, and another thing was I forgot to tell Nicole this, so I'll let you guys know too. Our most shared and most listened to episode, besides the first one, which is of course where everybody starts, is actually our DIY house cleansings
Oh, really?
episode. Yeah. So what I am gaining from this and from other clients is you guys really love when we talk about ghost experiences we've had. So maybe in the future we can do some more of those because I'm sure we'll have more. Oh, we definitely will, because in January of right after the new year, we'll be in New Orleans and we're staying at like the most haunted hotel there. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure we're gonna have more for you guys, and it's cool that you guys like hearing our little ghosty stories. So
Yeah. We're staying in the Andrew Jackson
yes.
down in the French Quarter. I forget. Is it Royal Street that it's off of, or?
Yes, it's on Royal.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited.
I'm fucking excited, dude. If I wake up to a picture of us sleeping in the bed on my phone, chef's kiss. I'll be so happy. I'm gonna be fucking excited.
We're over here having a conversation. Like, thank God we got a bed with all of us in it, because I don't think we would survive it with one of us being separate.
Girl, when we were in New Orleans last time for New Halloween, I barely survived it with you guys in the bed. Nobody else heard anything or saw anything. And there's so much activity in our room. And I was like,
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to wake my ass up.
Wake up, you fuckers.
Wake up.
Shit's getting thrown across the room.
Wake up.
No, I was like, oh, they're sleeping. We're all so tired. It's fine. They can sleep. I'll just deal
No.
with this. It's
Nope.
fine.
You wake us up immediately.
Yeah,
I
for
give you
real.
yes.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, thanks for the support, you guys. It's fucking
Yeah,
cool.
thank you.
Yeah. We'll talk more about like what we have planned in next year in the last episode of this season, because that's going to be our new year intentions and where we're going and things like that. So next episode's on Yule.
Yule.
Yule, not you. Yule.
Yule.
All right, we'll see you peeps later.
Bye, heathens.